Hello everybody, always Dizzy here. So I am back with finally another over the board tournament report. It's been close to a year. Yeah, very close to a full year since I've given a recap from one of my tournament games. I kind of took a year off from the circuit, if you will. Just to save money and to kind of justify going back to a tournament by practicing online and so forth. Okay, so yeah, I came back about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days ago, and I needed time to analyze all my games, put them into chess base and everything, and finally ready to start recording these videos. This was a 9-round tournament. I've never played a seven round tournament before, let alone a 9 round. So this was one of the things that intrigued me about this tournament. So there's going to be a lot of videos coming forth. Not sure the frequency in which I will post them. I'm thinking maybe once every 2 days, possibly once every 3 days. If you end up liking these videos, please give it a thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. This will help the YouTube algorithm, give more exposure to my videos. So I'm trying to hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I've been working on this channel for about over 5 years now, and still working on getting 1,000 subscribers. So, okay. Yeah, so I was going into this tournament, and yeah, you'll probably want to skip ahead 5 minutes or so from now, or I'll probably put it in the description below where the actual game analysis starts. But I'll just talk a little bit first. Yeah, I was hesitant to join this tournament because it's on the mainland and it was kind of in a weird location, meaning it wasn't great if you don't have a car. And I have a car, but I don't like to drive to the mainland. It's expensive for one thing. And it was a new organizer and a faster time control. There were just a bunch of things that I wasn't sure about, but it actually ended up being one of my favorite tournaments that I've ever been to. Probably top 2, at least top 3. And I've played in a fair bit of tournaments, so that's saying a lot. So I really enjoyed it, and probably I will attend next year as well. Having 9 rounds is such a treat. Okay. Yeah, so the time control for this tournament was 50 plus 10, which is really a lot faster than what I have always played before, which was 90 plus 30. But the 50 plus 10 allowed the schedule to be 3 games per day for 3 days. So that's a lot of chess. And I didn't practice for that time control beforehand. I just made myself mentally aware. Okay, let me just show a couple photos before I begin. If I can just get this going here. Okay. Okay. I'm going to have to move this up. There we go. So this was the pairing for the first round. You'll see, can you see? Whoa, shit. Sorry. I already swore. Whoa, come on. I didn't. Oh, God. Okay. Well, I'm all out of order here. Oh, this moved. Okay. Oh, God. Down. Okay. So I'm just going to have to edit this, I guess. That kind of sucks. Okay, I'm trying to find, there we go. I guess I won't bother editing it. I'm too lazy. but anyways, if you follow my cursor here, so first round, I was on board 4. So there were 2 sections in the tournament. There was the open section, where I guess it was above 1,400, so 1,400 and up. And then there was the under 1,400 section. So there were 90 players in the tournament. For the first round, I was paired up against Leo Chu, who I kept referring to as a master, but I forgot that I'm not sure about the US, but for Canada, I learned not too long ago that there's norm requirements to become an NM in Canada. I always thought you didn't need any norms. You hit 2200 and you're a master, but that's not true. So apparently you need three norm performances of 2300, or you could hit 2300. Yeah, I never knew that. I always thought it was just 2200. Oh wait, but you need, in addition to that, plus you need to be at least 2200. So it's harder. It's a lot harder to become an NM than I had thought. I don't know if it's the same in the US though. So if I refer to him as a master, technically he's not, but he is over 2200. So he is 2220. Yeah, and then the next photo here. This was my board. This actual photo. So board 4 here. This was the first time I've ever played. I've had the pleasure to play on a DGT board. So I had to take a photo because this might be the last time. So that was really quite a pleasure. You see it on TV and everything. And I know that this is not uncommon for many players out there, but in my neck of the woods, it's pretty rare to get the opportunity to play on such a board. So that was pretty cool. Plus, it's a DGT 3000, I believe. I think that's a custom. I think that's a DGT custom one. Yeah, so that was pretty cool. Man, the pieces just flow so smoothly. And also, I forgot to mention this. This was also on a live relay. So there's a website, and people could watch the game, and it was actually broadcast to Lichess even. So I think they had 7 boards like this. So the top 7 boards were these DGT boards. And then there was a photographer there who took some photos. This was one they took of me playing on the board. It's a pretty nice photo. There's a few other photos I have from the tournament as well, which it's kind of nice. I can use as like profile photos. I think I already updated my one on chess.com to use this, and I don't know, it's just kind of cool to see. Because the last one I had was like from 2018 or 2019, and I was playing like on a plastic board, and it was bad lighting and so on. Okay, let me get back to the board. Okay, anything else I want to talk about? I'm going to read my notes here a little bit. Oh yeah, so during the first like 13 or 14 moves, my hand was shaking uncontrollably. Literally uncontrollably. And I've never had that happen before. I've had like small shakes before, like this type of thing. But my hand was literally going like, I had trouble writing down my moves. So I have my score sheet here. I don't want to show it too quick so you don't get any spoilers. But I mean, I guess it's legible, but I was really shaking like this. And yeah, I was having trouble writing. And then moving the pieces and touching the clock, I was really shaking. And I almost had to use 2 hands to do it. And that probably freaked out my opponent. Now, maybe he thought I was really nervous. I actually wasn't nervous. I think what it was that right before the round, I walked from my Airbnb to the tournament hall, and it's winter. And I was carrying my water bottle out in the winter and holding the water bottle, and which was not insulated. I guess I was really cold. And it was also fairly cold in the tournament hall, I remember, at least for round 1. So I think it was like 90% being really cold, and then maybe 10% playing against a 2200 on a nice DGT board. But really, I think I was just really cold. I warmed up my hands by putting it in my pockets, and then that helped quite quickly to stop the trembling. Okay, I think I've talked about everything I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to set the mood there. So let's take a look at the game. Yeah. So I played e4. played c6. So I love playing against a Caro-Kann. I like whenever I see c6 having been played by my opponent, I feel very calm, and it's just a pleasant feeling because no matter what my opponent plays, I'm quite happy. I enjoy the positions. I'm comfortable in them. Probably more than any other opening. I'm not saying I play the best against a Caro-Kann, but I just, again, I don't fear it, and I enjoy playing against it. Okay, so d4, d5. Just remember my whole time my hands are shaking. My opponent was playing super quick. I don't know, trying to intimidate me maybe, or wanting to get the game over with quickly because I'm a low 1600 and he's a 2200. So there's what is that, 600 point gap between us? No. Yeah, 600. Well, almost 600 points. So anyways, he was moving very quickly, but so was I because I know the Caro-Kann quite well. Plays a knight f6 line. Maybe I should have slowed down there a little bit. Sometimes I've noticed in some of these videos, sometimes I go way too quickly through the opening just because I know all the lines so well, but maybe I should explain some of them. But yeah, this is one of the three main lines that black can play. There's knight f6, which is the the Caro-Kann, I believe it's called, variation. There's knight d7, which is the modern. I think Karpov and Kasparov played it famously against, or infamously against, Deep Blue. I think also before Karpov, it might have even been Smyslov might have played it too. I'm not sure. And then there's the classical line of bishop. I got to remember how to do arrows on this yet. And how do I get rid of them? Oh, no. See, hit the wrong thing. How do I get rid of the arrows? Do I have to... I guess I can click over here. Okay, sorry. So, yeah, and then there's bishop f5, which is the classical line. Those are the three main lines that black plays here. Whoops. Okay. And, yeah, I captured. Black recaptured with the e-pawn. There's also Bronstein and Larson used to play g takes f6, which is an interesting line, but the structures are very, very different. It leads to a much different game. I thought he might do that just to try to throw me off, although I would have been fine with that as well. c3, this is what I play. It's not main line. It's kind of a computer line. I like it. I believe main line might just be bishop d3. I don't know. I forget, but I play c3. This tends to transpose for the most part anyways. But he played bishop b6, bishop d3. So this is all, again, part of my theory. And again, I know these lines quite deep and quite well. Castles, queen c2. So just to give you an idea here, like this is move 8. Yeah, and we both have our starting time on the clock. So you can see my writing is like shaky. So my opponent here played rook e8, and I don't know how close I want to put this on here because I don't want to give away. But you see that rook e8? Let it zoom. Let it focus. Like look how shaky my hands were. The rook e8. My hands were really shaky. Okay, so he plays rook e8 check, and I played knight e2. Right, blocking the check. Don't really want to play bishop e3 because I want to castle kingside and as soon as possible. So he plays h5, which might look strange, but this is all theory. This is all standard. I castle h4, again, all theory. You can assume theory for like another 7 moves or so. Okay. So I played h3, and again, I'm just very comfortable. I've had this position a million times, and I enjoy the position. I believe it may not have been the exact same position, but I had a very similar position it might have been the tournament before this where I beat a 1700. Yeah. So he plays knight d7. So the idea of knight d7 is black is going to initiate this long maneuver. The knight often stays on f8 for a while, but eventually it could go to e6, but usually I think it goes to h7 and then to g5, but it often sits on f8 for quite a while. Okay, so I played bishop d2. Not so common. It's again, it's part of. Well, I don't want to give away too much, but yeah, it's part of what I play. I think bishop e3 is probably what most players play here, which is also fine, but this is just the setup that I employ. You got to be careful about if you try to play on f4, there are some tactics for both sides in these types of positions. So first of all, I think if you try to offer a bishop trade, I think rook takes e2 is a problem here, because we're going to drop. So removing the defender, and we're going to drop f4. But then there's queen e4, and then we, the hunter becomes a hunted, and then we have this double attack here. So there's some tactics there, but it's objectively it's not great for white to go into that. Sorry, so I'm just getting back to my lines here. So, whoops, I played bishop d2. He continues with the knight transfer, knight f8, and rook e1. Again, this is all part of my theory, so we both had our starting time left. I was at 49 minutes, and my opponent had 51 minutes. Again, the time control was 50 plus 10, so he gained a bit of time from the 10-second increment. Then my opponent played bishop c7. Now, I've seen this before. Pretty much I've seen everything before. So it wasn't unusual to me. But at the same time, I was trying to remember my response to it. I knew it was either c4 or f4. Both of those are thematic in these positions. And I knew that they would be close in eval, which they were. But I just couldn't remember. Yeah, I couldn't remember which one I preferred. Now, in the game, I played c4, which is fine, but I think, if I remember correctly, I didn't put it in my notes here, but I think that f4 is actually more accurate, because I think after c4, I might as well put that on the board. The problem is, I think we won't be able to stop f5. So I think here black can play queen d7. And then if we play f4, the problem is black can now play f5, stopping us from playing f5. I think that's correct. So I think slightly more accurate, and I'm talking about like 20 centipawns difference, is f4 first, and then black can't play f5. Right? If he goes queen d7 now, I think then we just play f5. Although I'm wondering if it transposes if he goes... It might transpose. Oh, no. I remember. Yeah, so in this position, so there's other positions where f4 first is better for the reasons I just mentioned. But here that doesn't make a difference, because I think here black can play queen d6. Yeah, and then later we can't play f5 because of these checks on h2. However, f4 does prevent something here from black. It prevents knight e6, because I forget why, but it might just be because of f5 immediately. I believe. But if, whoops, chess base is clunky like that. But if you play c4 first, then knight e6 is playable because of the attack on the d4 square. So these are really minuscule differences, but whoops, in the game, I did end up playing c4. Okay, did it show the arrows? Okay, how do I get rid of those arrows? Can I just click here? Okay. Okay, then my opponent played bishop e6. I just want to look at the times here. Yeah, so now my opponent finally, he started to slow down a little bit. You know, now he's spent a couple of minutes. Now he's down to 47 minutes. So now I know that he might still remember more theory here, but he's not instantly throwing out the moves. So he's having to think a little bit now. I played f4, again, just threatening f5. And he played queen d6. And just reading my notes here, yeah, so I wasn't really so familiar with the ideas behind this move. But black has ideas after this queen d6 move of doubling up on the d file and putting a lot of pressure on the d4 pawn and also on the h2 b8 diagonal. So that's the idea with queen d6. Obviously, it can't just really remain on the back rank. And I think I thought there for a bit. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I mean, I've seen this move. I've seen the move before, but the underlying. It's good to know more directly the point behind the move. I played c5, just grabbing more space essentially. It's interesting, yeah. I didn't write all this stuff in my notes, but I know that I wrote it in the note. I wrote more detailed notes in my repertoire. So c5 is objectively okay, and this is what I played, as I mentioned, but the actual best move here, well, not that. It's chess base is so clunky to use, is a3, which seems really weird. It seems very innocuous, like a random waiting move, but there's actually a very specific reason why a3 is the best move. And I think you'll see this in the game. Yeah, so my opponent responded after c5 with queen d7. And yeah, so I'll get back to that a3 thing in a second. And here I played f5. He goes bishop d5. And I played knight f4. And I played knight f4 after a bit of a think. Yeah, I was down to 35 minutes, so I spent 4 minutes on knight f4. So knight f4 seems good because if bishop takes a2, for example, then we have b3, trapping the bishop, right? However, this will show now why a3 earlier is actually a bit better, because after knight f4, so this is actually an inaccuracy, because I believe that black can take a2 immediately anyways. I don't have the engine on, so I'm trying to remember here. Yeah, it's either taking immediately or else it's trading the rooks and the knight on f4. So let's take immediately. And so if we play b3 now, trying to trap I mean, if we don't play b3, we're just down a pawn, right? So b3, and the problem is basically the d4 pawn. So well, I don't know why did chess base it makes the only legal move if I touch a square and okay, it's frustrating. Sorry, so where was I? So after b3, yeah, I think black can either take on f4 immediately or trade rooks. But the problem here is after we do this, wait, is this can't be right? Oh yeah. Then so they'll just they'll transpose. So either black trades the rook first or the minor pieces. But after this trade happens, then there is. Oh wait, no, this wouldn't work. Because I can save my bishop. So maybe it wasn't bishop a2 right away. I guess for the sake of clarity, I will put the engine on. It's probably going to make the video choppy. Yeah, no, this is winning. This is winning, but it's what did I show? I showed bishop takes f4. Yeah, so it's not bishop takes f4. It would be trading rooks first, or taking on d4. But we can do it this way first, and then queen takes d4. Yeah, and if we block here, oh, I didn't even see this line before. Then apparently queen b4 is winning. Because I'm guessing we will be able to capture on b3, and we're also hitting the rook. So I didn't even see that. But there's multiple tactical reasons, but it's all to do with this weak d4 pawn. There's also just queen takes d4 immediately. And then again, yeah, there's this queen b4. They're just transposes pretty much. But then there's also here, again, instead of even just trading rooks, yeah, queen takes, and if we move the king, yeah, then rook takes again. This will kind of just transpose once more. And well, in this case, then bishop takes f4 will work. So anyways, there were tactics there. And that's why, if you go back a few moves, that's why the best move here is actually a3, so that bishop takes a2 is not a problem. I'll turn off the engine there. Hopefully that didn't kill my video too much. Sorry if I'm getting a bit too sidetracked, but this was a kind of a key moment, one of the key moments in the game when I played. Well, c5 again was okay, but knight f4 was an actual inaccuracy, because here, yeah, I think bishop takes a2, and let me just put on the engine for a second, because I think it was this exact moment where bishop takes a2 was, yeah, it's bishop takes a2. So bishop takes a2 is about minus 0.5 for black. Basically because he wins a pawn. I won't be able to play b3. I'll just have to let him win that pawn. Okay, so, but he didn't see that. Instead, he played rook a d8, which is very principled. Just getting a rook into the game and putting additional pressure down the d file. And that was annoying. That was very annoying. I was not happy to see that. I traded rooks just to alleviate some of that pressure down the d file. And then I played b4. So just protecting a2, because at this point, I mean, even I think once he played rook a d8, I saw the issues with the queen taking on d4 and giving check. That's why I started to relieve some of the pressure. And so, yeah, here I played b4 because I wanted to protect a2 and stop these shenanigans. So instead of b4, a better move, and b4 was, I think, okay, but even better was knight takes d5, just trading off this very strong bishop on d5. And then I believe that what the computer wanted to do after that is just to basically hold down the fort. So we have this backwards pawn on d4, and it just wants to basically protect it with our dark squared bishop, and just hold things down essentially. Black does have the crippled majority, so the position would be pretty equal after that. But that bishop was very strong, and I should have traded it off, and I think I had multiple opportunities to do that. But I played b4. He played knight h7, again completing this maneuver in the Caro-Kann. And there was nothing I could do about the knight coming to g5. So I played a4. And so time, I was down to 20 minutes, and my opponent had 21 minutes. So we're both down to 20 minutes at this point. He plays knight g5. And then here I blundered. I think I just moved a little bit too quickly. I'm trying to think now of what caused my blunder. Like, what was the underlying cause? Oh, I remember now. Yeah, I guess I have it in my notes here too. So in the game, I played queen c1, which is a straight up blunder. My idea was, in these positions in the Caro-Kann, this h4 pawn is a real target. And often you can play moves like rook f4 and just take it. So what I was trying to do here, my idea was, since I have a knight on f4 and I can't play rook f4, I started to think of ideas like bishop e1, attacking it that way. But bishop e1 doesn't work because bishop takes f4, removing the defender, and then my bishop would be hanging from the rook on e8. So then I thought, okay, we need to keep this defended. So maybe my queen... Oh, wait, sorry, not there. I'm trying to work out these arrows, but that's why I played queen c1. I wanted the queen to x-ray defend the f4 knight. Then I was going to go bishop e1, attacking the pawn. So I had a very valid reason behind it. Unfortunately, I just overlooked a move from my opponent. And feel free to pause the video. I hate it when I watch videos and people say that, but I'm going to say the same thing. But what I hate more is when I watch YouTubers, like chess YouTubers, say, please feel free to pause the video. They then like pause themselves. I think John Bartholomew does this. And they give like a really long pause. But I mean, if people want to pause, they're going to pause the video. You don't have to pause as well, you know. So, but this was another key thing that I missed. And that is bishop e4. So just threatening f5 and threatening to remove the defender of f5 where it's attacked. I as soon as I played queen c1, like a few seconds after, then I saw the move. I saw bishop e4, and I was just hoping he wouldn't see it, but I figured he would. I mean, he's 22-20, so. And yeah, lo and behold, he did play bishop e4. Well, what can I do? Because his queen is now attacking d4, so I have to defend d4. So I just had to move back to where I was, essentially. I think I was on c2. Yeah, I was on c2, but I had to move back up again. So basically wasting a full tempo. He goes queen takes f4. And I didn't want to trade here because I'm down a pawn. And so I felt I needed to keep things as dynamic and give me as many possibilities as I could. So I played bishop c4, just putting my bishop on an active diagonal, keeping more pieces on the board. And my opponent blundered here. So he played, and just to give you again context of time, yeah, so we're both down to 11 minutes, right? I mean, it's a 50 plus 10, time goes fairly quickly. And we spent a lot of time in that middle game. There was a lot to consider. So we're both down to 11 minutes, and my opponent blundered. He played bishop takes f4. The problem with this is I think I'm going to win the h4 pawn now. So rook takes h4. Let me just scroll down here a little bit. Queen g6 and rook g4. So I didn't take the pawn right away because trying to remember why I didn't take on h4. Rook G4 was the best move, but I can't remember. What am I missing? What am I missing? God, I don't know why I can't remember, but I'm gonna look at it. I'm turning on the engine now. I'm sure it's something silly. Oh, well, there's knight f3, but if queen takes, what am I missing here? Queen takes. Oh my God! There's a bishop. Okay. Woo! Yeah. Okay. Won't edit that out, but okay, that's pretty embarrassing. I don't know why I just didn't see the bishop or didn't consider it. I saw the bishop, I didn't consider it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I I didn't take on h4 because of knight f3. Good thing I played the game then and not now. So I played rook g4 first, and then he played bishop f5, and then I grabbed the pawn. So now with the bishop having moved, knight f3 is not a problem. And if he didn't play bishop f5, thinking of another move for him. So if he just made a random move, then I would have taken on g5. And at least I think I would have. And then I guess we have queen e3. And he can't defend. Yeah, that's right. And then he can't defend with the f pawn. So I was going to win. I was going to win the g pawn as well. Yeah. Okay. It's funny how I saw all this stuff in the game, but looking at it now, I forget and I'm making mistakes. But it's a lot more clear when you're in the moment, right, playing the game. So yeah, so we played bishop f5. I took the pawn, and I'm feeling pretty good. I know that I messed up. I messed up a couple of times already, but I was feeling pretty decent here. This is a nice position, at least a pleasant one, and I'm playing against a 2200, and I'm holding my own. After rook takes h4, I was down to 8 minutes. My opponent was down to 7. And yeah, my opponent was really thinking during the game, like really hands on over the eyes and really thinking. So it was not a simple game for him. I think he had to really work for it. So he plays knight e4. And then I blundered again. This was really just from being low on the clock. After this move, I had 8 minutes the previous move. I should have played something safer. I could have played anything here, and I think this is equal if I remember correctly in the eval. But to kind of put pressure to my opponent, I played queen e3. The problem is I overlooked a very obvious move, and you can see it's pretty obvious, so I won't really make you look for it. But yeah, I just totally missed. Oh, come on, chess base. There we go. I just totally missed knight d6, and yeah, he gets to trade off. He gets to trade off his knight for my bishop, and then he'll have much more active pieces. So I played queen c3, protecting the bishop. He takes. And then queen g3, which I believe was the top engine move. And yeah, my rook is in peril here. And his pieces are about as active as you could ask for. Um, yeah, so I played d5. Basically, I felt that I couldn't save my rook. Um, I didn't even consider going to rook h5 because I felt there's no way I can survive there. Um, Even just bishop g6 probably kills the rook right there. But even if not bishop g6, then there's g6, and my rook is just getting trapped and inactive. And well, actually, that would have been. Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of these arrows. If I had played, instead of arrows, it might be better to make the moves on the board, just because the arrows are so hard to get rid of in chess base. But I mean, this just looked really nasty for me. If I try to hang on, then probably just g5, and this just looked way too. Oh, well, actually, I guess I could take on f6 there. So maybe not g5, but this looked pretty nasty. Maybe the king goes to g7, and then he can start like looking to remove my defender of the rook, and then, or even just then g5. My rook was just way too much danger to stay on the h file. So I played d5, and again, I only had minutes left when I played it. I was down to 2 minutes at this point. Yeah, I was down to 2 minutes. So I just my instinct was, okay, sack the exchange. So give the rook up for the bishop. Maybe in a miracle I can hold there. I do have the majority on the queen side, so maybe that can help me hold. So he took on d5, and he takes my rook, and I take his bishop. At this point, I was down to 1 minute, and my 2200 opponent had, what it moved into this, 33. He had 2 minutes. I mean, we were both low on the clock. I mean, but actually, I'm not up a pawn, but I do have the majority. I've got the majority on the queen side. Down the exchange, I thought I still had chances. Maybe even if it's a 10% chance to draw, that's still a 10% chance. So I played queen d4, queen f2, queen a1 check. I'm down to like 50 seconds, or I'm probably down below a minute. I'm probably down to like 30 seconds at this point. Checking my notes here. King h2. I'm making kind of a lot of mistakes here because I don't have any time. And queen g4, bishop g3. He grabbed another pawn. Looking very bad for me. Queen g4, queen b2. I'm just kind of playing out of inertia. He grabbed another pawn. Check. And then I made an illegal move. I didn't see the check. Completely missed it. And then when I missed it, I just resigned. So, yeah, I lost my first round. It went downhill quick at the end there. But I think I played a pretty good game. I think I gave him a run for his money. Like, he really had to work for it. And I got him down to a minute, or I guess 2 minutes. He had 2 minutes at the end of the game. And I think I really made him, maybe not sweat, but I made him, I made him work, especially in the middle game. Just kind of recapping the game very, very quickly. So this was all kind of theory. I'm not sure if he prepared for me or not. But there was some small little nuances in the opening. You could call it middle game because it is like 17 moves in. And then I forget where it was. Oh yeah, so the knight f4 was an inaccuracy because it drops a2 because of tactics. That was kind of one of the key moments. The other key moment was here, the queen c1. That was a big blunder, allowing bishop e4. I think I could have played anything here, and I was equal, but queen c1 just allowed bishop e4. dropping the d4 pawn. At least I had good intentions behind it. Like I had a very purposeful reason to do it. I just totally missed bishop e4, unfortunately. And you can't really make such mistakes against 2200s. Then I get back into the game here. I'm equal again. But then, wait, was I equal here? Oh, I was equal. Yeah. So this was the second. So I made 2 blunders and 1 mistake in this game. So this was the second blunder, queen e3. Yeah, just allowing knight d6 and allowing him to trade and gain the initiative, and then play queen g6, attacking my rook. Like the mistakes I made aren't egregious, right? But it was one mistake too many. So yeah, so that was the first round. As I say, despite losing the game, I think I still played fairly well. So I'm fine with the loss. And usually whenever I get to play theory, I'm pretty happy. So yeah, that's round 1. Okay. So I will be back with round 2. Again, as I say, maybe in a couple days from now, within 2 or 3 days. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, hope you enjoyed it. It was an expensive tournament for me to go to. So I really hope you enjoyed it. But I'll be back. Okay, thanks for watching. See you next time.